So that when you are being cross-examined by the council to the commission in Enugu, you said it was the North that waged war on Biafra.
The North, in fact, the first division from the North descended on Biafra from Nsukka.
Is that the first division of Northern Nigerian Army?
Of course, it is not first division of Northern Nigerian Army, but it was commanded by the Northern troops. Northern officers and men.
And that's your basis of saying it was the North that waged war on Biafra?
I said actually it was Nigeria that waged war, not Biafra waging war on Nigeria.
No, you said the North in your evidence.
It must be lipsus linguae.
Thank you very much.
So, greetings, fellow Biafrans. Again, ordinarily, I wouldn't really have the time to be tracking these mediocres we have in this struggle. But sometimes, just like a prime minister always said, when people propagate lies and they keep saying those lies over and over again, it looks as if it's a fact. That is just the reason why I also want to make out this time to let you all know the fact. I saw this video where one of these individuals that are propagating that they are fighting for Biafra or for Grege or for a nation of standard they maintain as professional nurses. Video that lied again to you, Biafrans, that this is a current picture taken in 2010. I took time to go pull that picture. That picture was done over 6 years ago, in 2019, when we went out for a volunteer service to some groups of people. So, Biafrans, the question I want to ask you, is this how you have been propagating for or looking for Biafra? Where you have criminals, people, mediocres, people, liars, that are making noise all over the place, are the ones you bring to near the government at all to do anything. A picture that was taken in 2019, and I'll post it after this, almost 6 years. Somebody went and pulled that picture, telling the people that follow him that this picture was done in 2025. That is a current picture. How did we get here?
All right, guys. So we understand that this journey of getting Biafran to be recognized without in all the world is not really easy. But there are too many beautiful things that has been happening recently that everyone needs to see. Another, it's the update of the Biafran passport. Okay, so that has been updated online and now they're actually processing it. And this is to tell you that most of the very top governments in the world has actually recognized Biafra as one of the very greatest states around the world. So I'm also going to project a video, that sounds or that shows vindication of Simon Ekpa and Nnamdi Kalu's God currently fighting to vindicate them from all the allegations that were labeled against them, just because they are trying to agitate and to give their people the freedom that they've been asking for over some decades. I'm going to let you see this video. All right, so and just after this video, here is an argument that is going on within the Nigerian government, okay, about someone that came up to speak the truth of all that happened between the Nigerian and Biafran, okay, war in 1967 to 1960. So I want you guys to pay attention to all that has been said and all the argument that happened in this particular gathering. And this is to see and to let you know that the God of the people of Biafran is not asleep. Now let's listen to these individuals and hear the argument from Nigerian government. See the video.
There was no coup in Enugu, no attempted coup in Enugu.
There was.
Listen now. There was no takeover of government or murder or assassination of anybody in Enugu and Midwest.
And this I explained in my book, Nigeria's 5 Majors.
Thank you very much. Now, you did not make any attempt to arrest Ironsi.
An attempt was made. In fact, I'm told that it was, if I may say this right now, and that it was Colonel Pan who phoned him and alerted him and he fled.
You did not make any attempt to arrest Ojukwu in Kano.
An attempt, you haven't read my book, you should have read my book.
I'm not interested in your book. I want to know.
An attempt was made to arrest him. An attempt was made to call people in Kano. And you don't see Iran. I'm sorry. I'm awfully sorry about talking about Iransi. Ojukwu arrested our man. And it's in my book, and you know it. You have a copy of it there.
In Kaduna, you also killed Brigadier Ademalokun and Colonel Shodende, who were the only 2 senior Yoruba officers there.
Brigadier Ademalokun was killed. There is no doubt in that.
What of Colonel Shodende?
Shodende was killed. It's all in my book. I mean, you should read it.
Thank you very much. Yeah. I want to hear what you will say on oath here, not in your book.
All right.
Okay.
May it please, my Lord, I'm sorry to leave. There is evidence already before this commission about the coup. My learned friend has been going on about who and who were killed. Exhibit 8 is a book written by him where, in 1981, where he listed all these things he's asking him now.
Yes.
The issue here, if there are any untrue statements in the book, which is in evidence, he wants to clarify as affecting the ACF. Let him put it to him, but to continue to rehearse the evidence given before, I think.
Well, I don't want to appear as asking too many questions, but in cross-examination and examination in chief and re-examination, there's something called notorious facts. Is that correct?
My Lord, it depends.
Many books have been written. All these things are there.
My Lord, he
read all of them.
He is the only surviving person who participated in the coup.
Absolutely wrong. Was he in Kaduna? All right, ask. Yes. If there's something like notorious fact, you can address us on them. But if they're notorious.
My Lord,
he is wrong. I'm not the only one surviving.
Nobody asked you a question yet.
You are one of the survivors.
Go on.
Now, when you are, from the records, we saw that when you are being cross-examined by the council to the commission in Enugu, you said it was the North that waged war on Biafra.
The North, in fact, the first division from the North descended on Biafra from Nsukka.
Is that the first division of Northern Nigerian Army?
Of course, it is not first division of Northern Nigerian Army, but it was commanded by the Northern troops, Northern officers and men.
And that's your basis of saying it was the North that waged war on Biafra?
I said actually it was Nigeria that waged war, not Biafra waging war on Nigeria.
No, you said the North in your evidence.
It must be lipsus linguae.
Thank you very much. Now, you said it was in your book and in your evidence that the coup at 1966 January was long overdue.
That was what I felt. That was my opinion.
Do you still feel that a military coup is the best solution to political problems of countries such as Nigeria? Now, as you are there now on oath.
The situation in 1966 cannot by any means be equated to the situation now in Nigeria.
Now, do you agree? Now, what I'm saying is, maybe you don't understand my question.
I do understand your question. In 1966, how I felt then might not necessarily be how I feel now.
Okay. Do you still believe that military as an alternative to political government or to democratic government is the best solution?
Right now that I am an old man, I feel otherwise.
Okay. And you know that that first attempt you made was the beginning of the military incursion into democratic rule in Nigeria.
Very right. It is not the handover or button changing that you keep having after that.
Okay. Now, the Ohaneze petition and your evidence said there was to be a planned jihad on January 17. It came from your evidence.
I said it's in my book, which was published in 1981.
Listen to my question, please.
Yes, I said so.
Now, immediately after talking about the jihad, they said the coupists.
There's nothing called.
Listen now, those who planned the coup,
The coup plotters.
Yes, the coup plotters, it doesn't matter. The coup plotters were to install Chief Awolowo as the president.
That's what they plan to do.
Which of them? Those who planned the jihad or your own? Those who planned...
You talk about planning the jihad. Those of us concerned with the coup of January 66 did not plan any jihad.
Yes.
In fact, they carried the coup, they moved fast to preempt jihad. That's what I said.
Listen.
No. It's so well recorded.
No, it's not question well recorded. You see, you planned a coup.
Beautiful.
The Ohaneze petition alleged that that coup was to prevent a jihad on the 17th.
Beautiful.
The following sentence in their petition says, those coup plotters wanted to install Chief Awolowo as the president of Nigeria. Something is amiss somewhere. Is it your group that wanted to install Chief Awolowo or the jihadists? That's all I want you to clear to the commission.
The book I tendered here is very specific on it. Awolowo was to come and be the head of government.
That's your arrangement?
Our own, yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you said elsewhere that failure to execute successfully the coup in Enugu was what led to the civil war.
You see, again, you haven't read my book, or you didn't even hear what I said.
Listen, I read your evidence before the commission in Enugu. Then certified true copy from the...
That's not what I said. Let me tell you exactly what I said.
What did you say?
You did a coup in July 1966. There were two coups in Nigeria.
There was a coup. I didn't
Just a minute. Let me tell you what I said.
Okay.
I said that the failure of the second coup, that is the July coup, failure of the July coup to succeed at Enugu was the one that caused the civil war. It is not the first coup.
I didn't say the first coup. I said July.
I didn't take part in July coup. You did.
Listen, you said failure of the coup in Enugu was what led to the civil war.
Failure of the July coup to succeed at Enugu was the one that led to the civil war.
How? If you can
explain. Let me explain. Because the coup failed, Ojukwu, who was the governor of Eastern Region at that time, was neither killed nor arrested. Ojukwu started actually contesting the legality of Gowon's taking over power. And it is this contestation of the legality that brought about the sharp division between the East and Lagos. All right? And it is this that led to Aburi. It is this that led to the Civil War. In fact, it is the one that was responsible. And in fact, I place the blame on the doorstep of those who did the coup of July 1966. That's what I said.
So those who planned the coup of July 1966 and Colonel Ojukwu were responsible for the Civil War. Is that what you're saying?
You can put it out after your fashion. What I know is that had they succeeded, you see, you were blaming January coup for not taking place at Enugu. And yet you didn't blame the July coup for not succeeding at Enugu.
The difference is that the January coup failed. The July coup did not fail.
Exactly. If January coup had failed, I wouldn't be sitting here answering questions. You would have made me Major General or something.
Now, do believe that Igbos are being marginalized?
Of course, Igbos are being marginalized.
Okay.
Let me tell you something.
Wait, you have answered my question. Now, one of your witnesses said Igbos are everywhere in this country and doing everything. They are so friendly and they are involved in every trade and business in every nook and corner of this country.
Is that how you appreciate?
Answer the question.
Is that how you appraise marginalization?
Answer the question.
Every individual. Let me tell you what is wrong with this country.
Sorry, my lord.
Every individual.
My lord, I want you to answer the
struggles
question.
on his own. Every individual. So Igbos being everywhere shows that Igbos are the best Nigerians. They are the best Nigerians. They are everywhere. They are true Nigerians.
You should have waited for my question.
No, but I must preempt even your question. You see, Igbos, if you are talking about marginalization, it's in terms of Igbos individually working as individuals.
In what context is the marginalization?
Exactly. For instance, the question of appointments, the question of things that belong to us in general, in fact, even the question of depriving Igbos of their rights. This is marginalization.
Now, you said in the Ohaneze petition that Igbos are only one out of 400 ethnic groups in this country. You agree?
Could you please restrict yourself to the statements I made?
You are supposed to answer my questions. If you don't know, say you don't know.
Uche Chukwuemeka has answered that kind of question. I am dealing with January coup, and that Ohaneze has partitioned everything. My compartment is January coup 66.
My friend, you are here as the witness to the commission, and it is my right to ask you questions, and you have an obligation to answer them. If you don't know how to answer, say you don't know.
The truth is that you say that I falsified history. I want to know where in my statement, it is in your letter. I want to know where in my statement I
said it is
falsified
in the record of Ohaneze, and you are their witness. And you agree with me that Ohaneze are complaining of marginalization.
Of course.
Now, do you agree with what Ohaneze said?
I agree that Ohaneze is right in saying that Igbos are marginalized.
And they are also right in saying that there are over 400 ethnic groups in Nigeria.
There are too many, even more than 400 if you like.
And you also agree with what they said, that the Igbos constitute about 16% of the population of this country.
I would have said actually 25%.
Okay. Now, do you have any statistics to show that the Igbos in appointments do not have up to 25% in the federal service? Do you have any statistics?
My
If
lord,
you don't have, say you don't
let
have.
me answer it. Don't rush me. How can you have statistics when we don't have true census figures in Nigeria?
I'm not talking
How
of.
can you are talking about statistics. Let us have census figures first.
Because we don't have census figures, then we don't have statistics.
Then you are imagining
appointments in
a
federal.
lot of people are dreaming dreams in this country. Some people put the population of this Nigeria at 120 million. Some said 100. Some said 100. When are we going to have our figures? True figures.
Please answer my question. We're talking about appointments. You said you are being marginalized in appointments. Do you have any statistics to show that you do not have up to 25%?
Ohaneze can supply that, and I believe that Ohaneze has supplied that.
They have not supplied it.
Well, you go to Ohaneze to supply it. Let me go on what I know.
Now, military regimes, just like the one you wanted to bring in, come on their own. And when they rule as military regimes.
Sometimes, not all the time.
Not all the time.
If you like, and name your military regimes that use civilians to get on with rulership or governance.
Just like civilians use you in 66. Well, there was never any military regime in this country that ruled without civilians.
Fair enough.
Ruled without civilians.
Good. I'm happy you are confirming it. That's what I said.
Yes. And there was never any military regime in this country that ruled without representation from across this country.
We never ruled Nigeria.
No, I'm not.
We of January 66 never ruled Nigeria. So you are not in a position to know who should have been in the government if we actually wanted to rule Nigeria.
Okay. Now, in 1966, 60% of the officers of the Nigerian army were Igbos.
60% of the officer corps
Were Igbos.
That is, in fact, an estimate, yes.
Yes. And at that time, from your evidence and your book, one of the things worrying the Igbo officers was that there was the Nigerianization of the army, and some people were insisting on quota.
You know, I took advantage of Nigerianization of the army.
Now, when you left the army as a captain.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
I didn't leave the army. I was bundled into prison.
Okay, and then from there dismissed or retired.
Up till tomorrow, we were not tried, so I don't know whether it's dismissed or retired.
And all this is because you were involved in the January 66.
Exactly.
General
And
Enjuma.
as I told you, even Gawan did not try us.
Yes.
Rather, he gave one of us, our leader, he gave our leader a military burial and gave him full military honors whilst he detained us. And you could kill Ironsi for not trying us. And you left that gentleman for not trying us either.
Now, at the time you planned the coup, or you were planning the coup, you knew that if the coup failed, your career in the army is finished.
Fantastic, you are right.
Then
I knew.
Yes. Then why were you complaining that some of your mates were major generals?
You see, the trouble is that
They didn't plan a coup. They were good Nigerians. That's why they became major generals.
a lot of them became major generals because of coups.
Successful
And in fact,
coups.
they promoted themselves. You should have known that. Why are you laughing? You should have known that. They promoted themselves. That's why other countries laugh at us. Please go ahead.
Yes, I'll go ahead, Mr. Bule. Mr. Bule, now in your book, you tried to state the reasons why you people gathered to organize the coup.
You are right.
Now, thinking back now, do you still regard those reasons as valid?
Very.
Listen, for a military takeover instead of a democratic change of government. You understand the question?
The reasons were as valid then as they are valid today. The killings in the West and the killings in TV area prompted, in fact, an action from us. And there were other reasons. Now, other reasons, they're all enumerated in the book I had tendered.
Now, you use the word, the rank colonel now, because you are promoted in the Biafran army.
Beautiful.
And
I prefer it.
And Ojukwu also promoted himself.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I don't know. When he comes, you will ask him.
Now, from certain publications we read, credited to you, you are not in very good terms with Ojukwu.
I am happy you said this.
Yes.
In other words, I have my own views on every issue. I am happy you said this.
Yes.
Because I fought the war on the Biafran side. I criticized Ojukwu for taking certain measures. And I'm happy you have my book there, The Fall of Biafra. I have my own views. Just as I had my own views in Nigeria when I was an army officer. And my views tallied with some views by other people.
Now, do you know that, like I said earlier, in every corner of this country, there are Igbos living peacefully with other Nigerians.
Living peacefully?
Yes, with other Nigerians.
Well, there are Igbos, correct, but living peacefully, I don't know. Because they are being murdered at every turn. They are being slaughtered at every turn. Anytime there was any riot, they are slaughtered. And you should have known that too.
Are you speaking on facts or on what you read on the pages of newspapers?
Well, all I can tell you is that there's even a case here.
There are Igbos across northern Nigeria.
Probably Akaloka is living happily, isn't he? Probably.
Do you know what Akaluka did? You brought the issue. Do you know what Akaluka did? Do you know the facts?
Whatever he did.
Listen, do you know the facts?
Whatever he did, he should have been subjected to the rule of law.
Listen, do you know the facts?
The rule of law should have applied.
Do you know the facts about Akaluka?
You said that I listened to the radio and I read the papers.
Look,
I read the papers.
Oh, so
All I know is that he is not alive today to even deny what he's been said to have done.
do you know that as a result of a Kaluka, 20 House of
That is
people
what
were
you
killed?
said. That is what you said. We have not been told this. Have you sent any delegation to Igbo land to explain the Kaluka issue? Have you sent any delegation to Igbo land?
You are not supposed to ask me questions. You have to answer my
I'm
questions.
sorry. I'm awfully sorry, my lord.
Okay.
All I can tell you is that you are begging the question with regard to Akaluka because he's not around. He's dead already.
Now, in your book, you warned Nzegu that because, listen now, that because of the number of Igbo officers organizing the January 66 coup, it could be misunderstood as an Igbo coup.
Number one.
Did you warn him, please?
I didn't want Nzegu. There was no Nzegu. That's number one. Number two.
I'm not an Igbo man. I'm not
God, you must try and pronounce the words properly. Number two, I didn't want Nzogu. If you read my book, I was discussing with Onwatu.